Welcome back from the break, Rams, and to the final week of the Red Zone. I'm Ethan Bird.
And I'm Sydney Wicker. The now 10th ranked CSU Volleyball team is heading to Seattle for the first round of the NCAA Volleyball Tournament to take on South Carolina. So, Ethan, for one last time, who is on your volleyball watch list?
Well, taking a look at that South Carolina bench, Michaela Shields is definitely the player to look out for with 342 kills on the season to a 31.3% hitting percentage. She's a scoring force, and with 416 points on the season, she's the leading scorer for the Gamecocks. But let me just explain this point statistic for a second, because I've realized I've talked about it a lot this year and haven't explained what it means. So points is the accumulative amount of kills, blocks, and service aces that a player has. So basically total offense. And Michaela's got a lot of those, and she's going to look to continue to score more points and get a lot of kills against the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. But going against the Gamecocks, the junior outside hitter Brianna Reynolds is CSU's key in the game against South Carolina. With almost 400 kills on the season, Reynolds is almost impossible to shut down. The only team to contain Reynolds this season was when they hosted Air Force. The Falcons held her to only 6 kills. But just last week, she helped the Rams beat Denver with 19 kills and 13 digs. Brianna Reynolds is one of those players you can never just know what to expect is going to come from her.
Absolutely, and it's going to be fun to continue to watch her in the postseason and 25 consecutive NCAA berths for this Rams team. They're so dominant, and I think they've got a really favorable first-round matchup in quad here. They're taking on a formidable South Carolina team, but a definitely beatable South Carolina team.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do against South Carolina, but this is a team that we've seen all season. When they go into those games that are 4 or 5 sets, they never let their heads go down. You know, a lot of times we've seen them sweep, we've seen them truly dominate, but when they've gone into those 4th and 5th sets, they just continue to power through and find the drive that'll keep them going.
Absolutely, and I think that kind of bulldog mentality that they've got, these 5 seniors, they know what it takes to play a collegiate volleyball match. They know what it's like to be in the NCAA tournament, and they're going to bear down and they're going to make a run. I'm saying it right now. I'm excited to watch this, and our very own Corey Odom will be there for all of that. So CTV Sports will have all of your coverage on the tournament. And after a 4-8 season, the conversation has only started to begin around head coach Mike Bobo.
Absolutely, and after Saturday's loss to Boise State, Bobo expressed wanting to stay, but he had a lot to admit.
Despite the noise outside, we are really, really close to being really, really good. But it's a bottom line business, you know. I know that. I think we all know that. And, you know, we didn't get it done enough this year. 4-7 is disappointing, but I can't say enough about our football team. You know, they didn't fall apart. They played hard every week. We just didn't make enough plays to win the ball game tonight. And really, that's how our team has played, you know, since I've been here.
We've been doing this all year, so it's time to hop back on to some Bobo Watch. And I do have to agree, it is a bottom line business. And here at CTV, we've already broken down his salary and the buyouts, his record at CSU and against rivals. But now it's time to look ahead, especially since Athletic Director Joe Parker declined to make any comments on the future of Mike Bobo.
Absolutely, and as of this week, it was reported by the Coloradoan that former Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer was in Fort Collins as of Monday. Now, what does this mean? Well, Ethan, I don't think CSU will be hiring Meyer anytime soon.
Well, as much as I think everybody would like to see Urban Meyer reunion back here in Fort Collins, he made a lot of money at Ohio State, and I don't really think CSU's going to cough that up. But the more realistic option is actually a guy who coached under him. That would be Tony Alford. Tony Alford was the assistant head coach of the offensive running backs coach and currently is for Ohio State. I mean, he's got the credentials, 22 years of experience. He's coached at 5 D1 programs. He coached Ezekiel Elliott and Mike Weber, and is currently coaching J.K. Dobbins, who's one of the top rushers in the nation with 1,657 yards. But what I think is most special about Tony Alford is his Colorado connection. He played high school football at Doherty High School in Colorado Springs, and he played for the Rams from 1987 to 1990. And in 1989, he had a 1,000-yard rushing season and was an all-WAC conference first team. And that Colorado connection, he's coached under one of the most historic coaches in college football. He's coached some great guys. I think he'd be a great fit here.
Yeah, absolutely. I like a lot of what you're saying there, and I think it would be great to have someone like that here, especially, like you said, having that Colorado connection. You know, CSU misses out a lot of times because of CU and their recruiting, how much that they can't get the top recruits just here in Colorado. So that would be an awesome hire, but the one thing I worry about with him is he doesn't have head coaching experience. But one guy to think of, if it's not Tony Alfred, is why not bring back Jim McElwain? You know, Jim McElwain currently at Central Michigan, he's got so much experience as a head coach, and he's been able to really dominate with his teams. He went from his first season at CSU when he was here, from having a 4-8 season to instantly increasing that to an 8-5 season, and then moving on to 10-2, and then out of the three of the past 4 years, he's actually had at least 8 wins in all of his seasons. So I think that's really awesome to have that experience as a head coach. That's something that you really want when you're looking at this team, because Mike Bobo came in not having head coaching experience. Do you want to take that risk with a guy again, or do you want to go with someone who has head coaching experience?
I think it's a risk you're willing to take, mainly because I don't want to see Jim McElwain back here. I haven't forgiven him. Since that 2014 season, the Rams went 10-2, one of their most dominant seasons in years, and then he leaves right before the Las Vegas Bowl. We lost, the Rams lost 45-10 there. I mean, that's just such an egregious way to leave a team, and I think that speaks to Jim McElwain's character. Yeah, he's a great head coach, and he can coach programs, but it's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, I get that too, and I don't like that he left, but another guy I had, since I thought you might disagree with me there, is Ed McCaffrey. Why not?
Why not?
I mean, he's coached at Valor Christian in Colorado. We've seen this guy as a head coach there, but only at the high school level. So he does lack that college experience, but he does have the head coaching experience. And having that NFL blood in his veins, and his kids are walking through that line as well, I can't imagine what their Thanksgiving was like. They're probably all playing football all the time, drawing up plans all the time. I say, why not give the guy a shot?
Who doesn't love a little McCaffrey in Colorado?
Absolutely.
And finally, it is time for our last Tell Me I'm Stupid of the semester. So, Sydney, for one last time, please tell me. I get to tell you you're stupid.
Well, Ethan, tell me I'm stupid, but Michigan deserved to make the most historic jump in college basketball history of the AP in the last 70 years, from being unranked to being ranked number 4 in the nation.
Well, Sydney, before we get into this is how I feel.
Can I just say that of all the idiots, in all the idiot villages, in all the idiot worlds, you stand alone, my friend.
You absolutely stand alone here. Going from unranked to number 4 in the nation is one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen. I think that's absolutely, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, they beat UNC, they beat Gonzaga, but I mean, come on, maybe I'd be happy with 15 through 10, but Duke dropped from 1 to 10 basically just to make space for Michigan. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they proved that they belong in the top 25, but they definitely didn't prove they belong in the top 5.
First of all, I gotta say, if that's the most disrespectful thing you've ever heard, you should try being a woman in the sports industry, because that is complete nonsense. And looking at Michigan, they should have been ranked from the start. Having Juwan Howard come in, they have a lot of returners from their bench. This team is a team that doesn't quit, and they completely proved that when they played UNC and when they also beat Gonzaga. Not only did they beat these teams, they completely dominated them. They dominated UNC by 20 points in 1 point during that game. And then also they did the same thing with Gonzaga, able to control them, slow them down, and make some shots. Now I know they're taking Louisville right now, but that game wasn't looking so good for them. But they have been so hot behind the arc. Maybe number 4 wasn't the spot they should have gone to. But being in the top 25, at least top 10, I think they deserved it, absolutely.
But number 4.
Number 4,
Really,
heck yeah.
Sydney? I mean,
Why
come on,
not?
come on.
Hey, they gave it to
be
him,
honest
and they
with
gave
me.
it to
Be
them
honest
for a
with yourself.
reason.
They did give it to him for a reason. They gave it to him because they got a little excited. This run's going to be forgotten, but something that I definitely won't forget, and a lot of Michigan basketball fans won't forget, was last year's NCAA tournament, that Sweet 16 game where you guys got ran and got dominated by Texas Tech 63-44. But you didn't see Texas Tech went to the national championship. I mean, they proved that they belong there, but you didn't see them jumping up into the top 5 in this year's poll. I mean, come on.
Texas Tech hasn't jumped up because they've played nobody and they don't deserve to be in the top 25. Yes, they were a great team. They went to the national championship and they were able to be there, and that's good for Michigan. The fact that they lost to the team that went to the national championship, I'd rather have that than have the team that gets knocked out in the next round. So I think it was really impressive, and you can't really call that a complete domination or whatever. They've had
did you watch the game?
I did watch the game, and they did get blown out. Whatever. It's a new season, new coach. They got more players. it's time to look ahead at this. They deserve that number 4 spot, and if they keep it, they'll at least be ranked for the rest of the season.
Maybe. I see a loss coming. Whatever.
We'll see. We'll let them do the plan. Well, Rams, that's all the time we have for this semester, but the new show will return on Tuesday, January 28th for the new semester. To stay updated on sports until then, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at sports_CTV. I'm Sydney Wicker.
And I'm Ethan Bird, but tune back in tomorrow night for the last episode of Humans of CSU, where Lauren Orcutt, will be sharing stories of students and their international travels. Thank you for supporting us this whole semester. It means more than you know. Have a great night, Rams.